Good morning. Welcome to Real Life with Andrea. It is Memorial Day morning, and I am contemplating what I'm going to do with my day. Typically, we would be throwing a big party, but we are not having that party this weekend. What's up, bud?
Nothing.
Over here, please. Or over in that corner, but don't climb behind the chairs. Thank you.
My favorite.
Thank you. So we've got yard work, we've got walking downtown and seeing what else is going on today. The older kids are going to their grandfather's house in the afternoon. So it'll just be Sebastian and I this afternoon and this evening. Hi, buddy. But this morning I did get an opportunity to start revisiting our book on joy, and it was extremely insightful. So I'm going to start sharing that again next week. Over the last 10 days, I have gotten completely out of my routine between traveling and then having to get caught up with the dogs. And it's all excuses, ladies and gentlemen. It's all excuses. Even when we travel and have other things going on, what drives our life shows where our priorities are at. And when we break our routine on a particular day, that's fine. But when we go for days on end without doing the things that we say are important to us, then we have to really evaluate how important those things are to us, because when we allow other things to push them out, we aren't showing with our actions that the words that we use are really important to us. I'd like you to stop doing that, please. Okay, go on. So to me, prayer is important, and I was challenged this week because when we traveled last week, we listened to the Screwtape Letters, and if you have not heard the Screwtape Letters or read the Screwtape Letters, it is a incredible audiobook about letters of one devil writing to another devil, and they are tempters. And it is fascinating the way that they attack, and it isn't always as overt as we think. And so sometimes we think of these big things that is a temptation, or when we don't get our way, that's Satan putting a block in our road. And in these letters, it talks about really the more simple ways that Satan gets at us, that keeps us, we're putting the block in our road often because we're confusing ourselves when we aren't really spending time in God's Word, and we aren't spending dedicated time in prayer. But one of the chapters talks about prayer and how it's okay to let your people pray. You just want to keep them thinking that praying during the day is enough. Like just shooting up those prayers of I want throughout the day, or that posture really isn't important, that praying just as I go is good enough. And it really challenged me to think about how I pray, when I pray, and not that those times of prayer aren't important, that pray without ceasing means that we would be praying during those times, but that having a dedicated time of prayer where there is no other distractions, and even our posture of being on our knees, being in prayer, being dedicated to praying for our friends, for our family, for the things that are going on in our lives without distraction, is really, that is a very powerful time of prayer. And while all of the others keeps us connected to God, it isn't quite as powerful as that focused, dedicated no interruption time of prayer. That and getting together with other people to pray. And if you notice, when we go to pray, whether it's prayer meeting or prayer group, or we meet at our church once a month, the first Sunday of the month, everybody is invited to come to the church for a time of prayer. And it includes worship, but it is prayer. It is prayer and worship, and that is all that it is. We don't chat and talk about the things of our day. We don't share stories. It is a dedicated time for us to pray. And I think that we tend to
Mom,
not want to set aside that time.
can you close this?
Yeah, I'll close that for you.
Sorry to interrupt your video.
Oh, thanks for that apology, baby. Oh, that one was a tough one to get done. Okay. Thank you. But yes, so I just think that there's power in that prayer. And when we don't have that dedicated prayer, our prayer life is not going to be as powerful. It's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be as helpful, even though we feel like we are praying without ceasing. So I am committing to this week really taking that time to reevaluate my priorities. And one of those things is that in the morning, after I let my dogs out, because they got to go out, it is time for me to grab my cup of coffee or my tea and get on my knees with the Lord and my prayer journal, so that the other thing is that if we are distracted because we don't know what to pray for, keep a prayer journal. List those things that people have asked us to pray for. And that way, when we feel our mind slipping and getting distracted, we have our list of things, that's blank, to pray for. And so my desire this week is, again, get on my knees before the Lord every single morning and pray without distraction. Pray dedicated for my friends and family, as well as for myself and for my day. And to continue my prayers throughout the day when something happens or something occurs, or just because I see something that is beautiful. But if I want prayer to be an essential, integral, prioritized part of my day, then I need to give it my undivided attention on my knees before the Lord every single day. So pray for me, because once you voice these things out loud, it typically becomes harder to do, and we find excuses not to do them, or why it didn't happen. But again, when we want something, we make it happen. And so I am this week going to start making it happen. So I will be probably doing shorts in the morning to see how well I did. And if you've ever watched a video on people when they're starting out praying and doing that dedicated time, they're like, 2 minutes is such a long time when you've made that decision to be focused and to sit in quiet and uninterrupted and to pray. But we'll see how it goes. I will update you in our shorts on a daily basis on whether I did it and how long and how it made me feel. So join us this week. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe so that you know anytime that I upload any posts. You can hit that notification button. It'll let you know. And comment below on what you think about dedicated time of prayer. Do you do it? Should you do it? And will you do it? See you soon.